Good morning. I hope you're doing well. I thought I'd take a few minutes today to talk a little bit about the National Association Realtor settlement that's been announced. I'm not going to go into the background of that lawsuit. And since the settlement has been announced but not finally approved yet, there's been probably every day any news source that you pick up online or paper or what have you, there's some sort of article about the changes that will be coming soon, very soon, in the real estate industry. I kind of wanted to talk about it just briefly from two standpoints right now, and then promise to you that as things are approved and we understand the actual changes in our local market, that it will be sure to communicate those to you as quickly and effectively as I can. If we think about, there are some real changes as the settlement is proposed that will impact how we operate together. From the standpoint of a seller, if you're listing your property for sale, up till now, we have had a process whereby when we list a property, there's something called co-broke, which is the commission that is paid to the buyer broker. And the seller has historically paid that via, or agreed to pay that via the listing agreement. So the listing agreement had a payment for the listing brokerage and also a co-broke arrangement to compensate the buying brokerage. And then there were, terms and conditions around that depending upon who actually bought, buyers and sellers and so forth and so on. It was something that ultimately was agreed to between the listing brokerage and the seller. And importantly, the multiple listing service, the MLS, which is a tool that we use to basically bring properties to market, and then that feeds all of the real estate websites all over the place. That communicates to brokerages what the commission or co-broke arrangements are. So it's clear to everyone what the payment arrangements are, if you will, the commission schedules. With this settlement, for the lister, the seller, you do not have to offer co-broke commissions anymore. You can if you want to, but it's not required as a participant in the multiple listing service. Also, in the multiple listing system, it will not give any indication at all whether or not there is a co-broke arrangement and what that might be. So the information will not be available in MLS as it has been in the past. So that's a pretty big change for the listing side. Now for the buyer, as I work with you as a buyer, probably the initial biggest change is that before we can look at any property at all, we must have a written agreement on how I essentially get paid. And that can take all sorts of forms yet to be determined. And as I'm representing a buyer and trying to understand what listed properties are going to be participating in co-broke and which ones are not, it's just going to be a little bit of a kind of a crazy process to figure out all that. And the processes and the forms and so forth are not developed yet. So fundamentally, the discussions with you as a lister will be centered around how we want to handle commission payments from both sides or not, and then how that impacts pricing and so forth. And then with you as a buyer, we need to have discussions around what services you want from me and how I will be paid in the process. So look forward to having some more discussions on this. I'll throw a little twist in this whole thing. The settlement was with the National Association of Realtors and for realtor organizations that owned their MLS. In the Hilton Head market, our multiple listing service is not owned by the Realtor Association. So the multiple listing service in our market has to determine how it's going to operate and whether or not it wants to be included in the settlement terms of this lawsuit or not. And I don't know more information regarding that yet. There's a lot of meetings and webinars and so forth coming up that I will participate in to understand exactly how our local market works. But rest assured that I'll try and communicate that to you as soon as I can. Most of the people, all of you, thank you very much for working with me as a buyer or as a seller. So many of you are remote at the time when we're working together. And I just want to say that regardless of how all of this shakes out, my commitment to you as your realtor is to provide you the best level of services and the full complement of services that you deserve and need, and particularly be your advocate and eyes on the ground, so to speak, when you're not here. So I look forward to continuing our relationship and just having some different forms and so forth that we need to fill out and maybe a few different conversations. If you have any questions that I can help you with, please give me a call. I'll do my best to try and stay on top of all of these issues as they pertain to our particular market here and how we will work together. Talk to you soon. Bye.